Alright guys, I am back here again. So yeah, so you may recall my last video. It was the hotels that I recommend you stay at and avoid along the cities and towns along I-25. Well, this one is practically the same thing, just not on I-25. It's going to be on I-70. So I-25 was basically, if you don't live in Colorado, but again, you want to stay there. If you don't live in Colorado, I-25 basically goes straight through the entire state vertically, but I-70 goes horizontally. And there is another smaller interstate. It's I-76. It goes about here and then ends right about here on I-70. So that'll be a video for another time. But so I'm gonna be showing you the hotels I'd recommend and don't recommend on I-70, going from east to west, starting with Burlington, going to Fruita. And like I said in the last video, I don't think I said this in the last video, or like at the end of the video to remind you guys, with all these towns, some of them might not cover all of the hotels in the area. If there's a hotel on there that I didn't cover, chances are it might be good, but it might not be great. So, yeah. And there are going to be some hotels like the North Washington one on 925 that only have very few hotels, like maybe like 2 or 3, and I would just say avoid all of those, but I might say stay to them as well. And if you think there are any on here that I missed, like anyone say you would recommend me stay, like recommend I make a video just to that one, like that hotel, to stay at or avoid. Like if I didn't cover it on the list, then you can go ahead and put that in the comment section. But so yeah, so let's get to I-70. So in Burlington, this is far east. So in Burlington, the ones I recommend you stay at would be the Chaparral, if I said that right, Chaparral Motor Inn, Burlington, Colorado, the Fairfield by Marriott Inn and Suites, Burlington. Burlington is very, very small, so you're going to see very few hotels. And the ones I recommend you avoid would be the Western Motor Inn, the Quality in Burlington, and the Stay in Burlington. I believe this is the last one. Yeah, that's the last one. So, coming next here in Limon, and I actually did skip a town. There's a small town with one hotel in it. It's called Stratton. Some people would say it's where the Golden Prairie is. There's yeah, I don't know much about Stratton. You might know a little bit more about it, but there's a travel lodge there. That one's just good, but it's not great. So that's why I didn't bother putting it on any list. But coming here in Limon, the ones I recommend you stay would be the Safari Inn, La Quinta Inn, the Suites by Wyndham Limon. That one I actually have stayed at before. It's really nice. You can check out my Google review for that one. The Best Western Limon. And then there's no avoid ones in Limon, so I mean, you pretty much can't go wrong with any of them. I mean, some of them might be a little rough around it. Sorry. Again, I got 4 hours of sleep last night. Some of them might be a little rough around the edges, but you're never going to find one that's overly sketchy. And then coming in Aurora. Aurora is a very big town, like just outside of Denver. It's right near the Denver airport. Yeah, Denver International Airport, also known as DIA for abbreviation. And like Aurora, it's big, so I'm only covering along the I-70 area of Aurora. I might make a separate video because I'm going to be doing another video after this for I-76, but then 2 more for the Denver downtown and the Denver airport. I might end up doing one of Aurora. But, so just Aurora along the I-70, this is the Silo Hotel, Denver Airport, A Ramada by Wyndham. Now, I never really understood these, like, sort of co-own things where it's technically still a Ramada, it's still owned by Wyndham, but it just has a different sort of, like, name, like the silo. And the Hilton Garden Inn Denver Airport, Woolies Classic Suites. This one looks like it should date back to the 1800s with the architecture, but really it was built in, like, I don't know, 2018. If I remember right from my Google Street View thing, the time lapsing. Um, if you don't know how to do that, you can comment below and I'll show you guys how to do that. The Town Place Suites by Marriott, Denver Airport at Gateway Park. Hampton Inn and Suites, Denver Airport, Gateway Park. Ones to avoid, like the Aurora I-70, be the Quality Inn and Suites, Denver Airport, Gateway Park. Hometown Studios, Denver Airport, Aurora. Hometown Studios, I'd say the most Hometown Studios I've seen is in Colorado. There's like 5 of them in Colorado. And they're all former Crossland Economy Studios. That's the brand that was, I believe, owned by Extended Stay America. And I think they just phased down and turned into other hotels, most of them Hometown Studios, but it's owned by Red Roof. So yeah, Hometown Studios by Red Roof. Cotton Lodge, Denver International Airport. And in the Denver area, this time not along I-25, along I-70, it would be the La Quinta Inn and Suites by Wyndham, Denver Gateway Park. Embassy Suites by Hilton, Denver Central Park. Drury Plaza Hotel, Denver Central Park. Home 2 Suites by Hilton, Denver Central Park. And then ones to avoid would be the America's Best Value in Denver. Motel 6, Denver, Colorado Airport. Star Motel. So yeah, avoid those in Denver. Now in Wheat Ridge, got the Holiday Inn Express and Suites, Wheat Ridge, Denver West by IHG. Hampton Inn and Suites by Hilton, Wheat Ridge, Denver West. And I thought I was going to find more, but turns out that's it. And then wants to avoid to be the Best Interstate Inn. Super 8 by Wyndham, Wheat Ridge, Denver West. La Quinta Inn by Wyndham, Golden. Denver Golden. And again, like I was saying, that La Quinta Inn is one of those exterior corridor La Quinta Inns. And again, that one meets what I said. That one's pretty terrible. Although the one in Limon, that one's a new, modern style one. It was built relatively recently. It's really new. So, yeah. So, Golden. And then in Golden, you got the Eddie Tap Room and Hotel, the Origin Hotel Red Rocks. And then one to avoid would be the Holiday Inn Express and Suites Golden, Denver area, and IHG Hotel. In Evergreen, there's only one like major hotel in Evergreen along I-70, and that would be the Comfort Suites Golden West on Evergreen Parkway. I have also stayed here. It was a really good hotel. If you like the mountain cabin feels, and you're gonna have a great stay. In Idaho Springs, and keep in mind, Idaho Springs, there are no branded hotels in Idaho Springs, so if you want to find like a Wyndham or a Choice, you're not gonna find them here. You have to go to like Georgetown or Silverthorne to get those. So in Idaho Springs, wants to stay would be the 6 and 40 Motel, the Uplift Inn Idaho Springs, Colorado, Club Hotel Idaho Springs, Colorado, and the ones to avoid, the Argo Inn and Suites, the Columbine Inn, H&H Motor Lodge. So yeah, again, and then in Georgetown, there used to be a Super 8 here, but that closed. It's now the Georgetown Lodge, I think. So, the only branded hotel would be the Microtel Inn Suites by Wyndham, Georgetown Lake. And, as you can see, I recommend you stay at that one. And then Georgetown Lodge, yes, that's the former Super 8. The Georgetown Mountain Inn, and the Clear Creek Inn. And, to the best of my knowledge, these are all the hotels in Georgetown. So, you can literally stay at any of them, and like you'll have good reviews. You'll most likely have a good experience. In Silverthorne, the Block Hotel and Commons, Hampton Inn and Suites Silverthorne. Yeah, so Silverthorne, like, it has a few hotels, but it can be a little interesting with its hotel value. There's a La Quinta. There's a former La Quinta. It's called Mountain Valley Inn and Suites now. But yeah, when I say there, it was pretty sketchy. So yeah, looks like the Mountain Valley's doing better, but it's such a recent conversion that I don't want to chance it. I didn't put it on the stay list. But the ones to avoid would be the Hotel Indigo Silverthorne by IHG, Quality Inn and Suites Silverthorne Copper Mountain, which is weird because Copper Mountain, you have to go through the entirety of Silverthorne, which is not big. It's it's not big at all. And you have to drive like 5 minutes to get to Frisco, drive like 2 minutes through Frisco on I-70, then drive another like 10-15 minutes just to get down to Copper Mountain. So yeah, that's interesting to me. Luxury Inn and Suites. This is a budget hotel. Don't let the name fool you. And then in Dillon, so Silverthorne kind of has this thing with Dillon where, or like the pathway is you come here, like Idaho Springs right here somewhere, there's Georgetown, and then loops down over here's Frisco. You got Silverthorne over here on this side of I-70, and then Dillon over here on this side of I-70. So it's pretty interesting. I remember getting very confused with that. But the ones to stay in Dillon would be the Best Western Ptarmigan Lodge. And that's the only one. There's no void ones in there's no void ones in Dillon. And the ones I recommend you stay at in Frisco would be the Ramada by Wyndham Frisco. I've stayed here. You can check out my Google review for that one. And my TripAdvisor review. I think I left a TripAdvisor review there. The Frisco Inn on Galena. Ones to avoid would be the Summit Inn. And then in Vail, would be the stay ones in Vail would be the Manor Vail Lodge, Antlers at Vail, Vail Run Resort, and then there's no void ones in Vail, so the ones to stay at in Avon would be the Club Window Resort at Avon, the Weston Riverfront Resort and Spa, Avon Vail Valley. Excuse me. And then the ones to avoid in Avon would be the Comfort Inn near Vail, Beaver Creek. To me, like in a mountain area, there's really no excuse for bad hotels. So if you have a bad hotel, just close it or sell it. An Eagle, it's right outside. They call it like Eagle Vail Valley. Like see this Quality Inn. But like you have to drive about 5 minutes out of Avon, like 5-10 minutes, I think. So an Eagle wants to stay would be the Quality Inn and Suites Vail Valley, and wants to avoid an Eagle would be the Green Tree Extended Stay Eagle Vail Valley. This is a former Hawthorne Suites as well. So yeah. And Glenwood Springs, the ones that I recommend you stay would be the Glenwood Springs Cedar Lodge. Glenwood Hot Springs Lodge. I stayed here before. You can check out my Google review for that guy. The La Quinta Inn and Suites by Wyndham Glenwood Springs. I've also stayed here before. You can go ahead and check the Google review of that guy as well. The Glenwood Hot Springs Inn. Hanging Lake Inn. Ponderosa Lodge, Glenwood. And the ones to avoid in Glenwood Springs, which I think is only one, be the Adventure in Glenwood Springs. Okay, I was right. And then ones in Silt. This is not really close to Glenwood Springs anymore. It's more close to Rifle. They're smaller towns, but so the avoid ones, because there's only 2 hotels in Silt that I know. There's a Holiday Inn Express. That one, again, it's not good, it's not bad, so I didn't put it on the list here. But the one to avoid in Silt, most definitely, would be the Red River Inn, Silt, Rifle. And wants to stay in Rifle would be the La Quinta Inn and Suites by Wyndham Rifle. The Comfort Inn and Suites Rifle. And then the one to avoid in Rifle would be the Roadway in Rifle. And Clifton, this is right outside of Grand Junction. So the ones I recommend you stay would be the Best Western Grande River Inn and Suites. And then in Grand Junction, the ones I recommend you stay at would be the Hotel Montrose, Spring Hill Suites by Marriott, Grand Junction, downtown historic Main Street, Hampton Inn, Grand Junction, downtown historic Main Street, True by Hilton, Grand Junction, downtown, Candlewood Suites, Grand Junction, NW by IHG. NW, I assume, means Northwest. Well, you should never assume things. Wood Springs Suites, Grand Junction, Doubletree by Hilton Hotel, Grand Junction, Armada by Wyndham, Grand Junction. And wants to avoid it in Grand Junction would be the Red Roof Inn, Grand Junction, Studio 6, Grand Junction, Colorado, Days Inn by Wyndham, Grand Junction, Villa 718, Motel 6, Grand Junction, Colorado. And then in Fruita, it's I would say right outside of Grand Junction. You have to drive about 5 minutes out of Grand Junction to get to Fruita, but it's still fairly close. So in Fruita, once I recommend stay would be the Super 8 by Wyndham Fruita and the Balanced Rock Inn. So yeah, that's my video on the hotels that I recommend you stay at on I-70, on the I-70 area. If I didn't mention any hotels that you wanted me to mention on any of these lists, you can go ahead and comment them below. And I will do a video just for that one to, tell you guys, like, hey, this person said that, like, you should stay at this hotel or avoid this hotel because I didn't get it down on the list. And so, yeah. And again, keep in mind that with all these towns, I didn't do every single hotel in all these towns. This is just, like, the ones that are either really good or really bad. So, yeah, again, thanks for watching. I'll be releasing another video shortly. And with that, I'll wrap it up. So, yeah, have a good day. Peace out.